Some would say this is not a true Leica.
But right here, I have a list of everything else that's not a Leica. All Leicas passed the Leica 3 for not being a Barnack. Any Leica made in Canada, any Leica made after the M5 because they stopped using the adjust and fit method. All digital Leicas, all Leicas with a light meter, the Leica CL because it's not made in Germany and in fact is made in Japan. This is a real Leica.
While its plastic body doesn't match its M series siblings, its minimal design, modest price, and compact size really do make this the practical Leica. And with it still using the M mount, the glass makes the photo. These shots were taken across Japan and they look sublime. No one would guess that it's taken on a poor man's Leica. Part of the reason this poor man's Leica stopped production was because it was outselling real Leicas like the M5 2-to-1.
See, at the time, it was designed to be a smaller, more pocketable alternative to the Leica M5, say, and it was designed to compete with the very popular Canonet. Then, when it was too successful, Leica went ahead and said, oh, too many of these are selling, we cannot be having too much money or else we are going to be popular like everyone else. And then they stopped production of it. Now this camera has 40mm, 50mm, and 90mm frame lines, and the rangefinder is really good. It's quite bright, especially in comparison to something like the G1. The main reason you're gonna shoot Leica is because it's minimal or it's high quality. Well, this one's minimal and not the highest of quality, but still really, really pretty. Nowadays, there's a lot of better alternatives, especially if you want something like a 40mm, just because the Canonet and whatnot are a lot cheaper. That said, I do have an affinity for this camera. Other than the light meter, which tends to go, this camera is entirely mechanical, like a watch, so you don't need batteries at all. Which is good because it uses a specific kind of mercury battery that's pretty hard to find, Vine cells.
Speaking of the light meter, it works by fully winding the frame advance lever and then pulling it again and keeping tension. That's when it activates.
You can adapt different kinds of, for example, hearing aid batteries, but it's gonna be a stop or so off. That said, the light meter will die. There are a ton of these Leicas, and you're gonna notice they go for pretty cheap prices. A lot of that is because the light meter will die on all of them. It's less of a if and more of a when. The film loading of the entire bottom half of the camera coming off is the reason that they decide to put the straps on the side. This also allows for it to have a relatively comfortable position when you're walking about. The downside, of course, is that I naturally like to have my arm through the strap like this so that I can bring it up to my eye. But even with an extended strap, the strap will fold over the viewfinder, making it so that I can't really see what I'm looking at. It forces you to go full gamer mode and have it around your neck like this, like it's a necklace, which isn't a worse thing, it's just a change.
One more thing about ergonomics is the shutter speed dial is moved to the front and not the top. This keeps the top visually very clean. And with this setup, the shutter speed control feels more like a dial that you would see vertically on a modern DSLR, with additional benefit of the camera being smaller and the top being clean and minimal.
That said, this is a really minimal camera. It has shutter speed, aperture, and a light meter. It is the minimum of what you need, so you can just focus on taking photos. And I believe, in my mind, a camera that is based on photography, that gets rid of everything else, so it's just you, your camera, and your subject. That is what I think a Leica is. Thank you for watching, and God bless.